Welcome everyone to MMA Marks. Today is December 13th. This is episode 5. We have a lot to go over, so let's get down to business. So what's up, buddy?
Yeah, you know what? That might have been fight of the year, fight of the all time. The whole card was great. You know, let's start off with Holloway versus Ortega.
Just jump right into it, man.
Yeah, well, first of all, blessed era, baby. You know, hey, you were saying I'm wrong. Bow down.
Bow down?
Bow down.
Yeah, man. I have to admit when I was wrong. The blessed era came right on through. That train ran right through Ortega. And you know what? I ain't even mad at him. Ortega showed so much heart. He actually won a little bit in defeat, I think, with all the heart that he showed. And he never gave up. Even, I mean, he did get his clock cleaned a good bit. And Holloway put on a show, man. Unbelievable. With all the combinations. He looked like a new fighter. I've never seen him look that good. He looked better than he did when he beat Aldo. I mean, it was just great.
Yeah, it was. I guess that, you know, extra time and extra motivation and just sitting thinking, and you know, he got to reset himself, because he said he went through a depression, and then he spent excuse me, spent a lot of time with his son, and just being able to really get his motivation back, even though he wasn't losing his motivation, but he got a whole new motivation.
Did you see his son though? That kid is cool as hell, man.
Yeah. He purposely had his son young. He actually said that on the interview, because he wanted to be able to like really hang out with his son and, you know, teach his son all kinds of like, you know, cool things. But I would say that match, if you haven't seen it, you guys have to see this match. It was so great. But I wouldn't say it rivals Hendo versus Shogun, but you know, I'm talking about as a greatest match of all time, but as Max Holloway, maybe the best performance by an individual, because Ortega wasn't exactly giving it back to him it wasn't so back and forth as Hendo and Shogun.
No, it wasn't a back and forth match, but this performance from Max Holloway was absolutely one of the most best performances I've ever seen from a fighter in general, especially coming off all the concussion / depression, like you were saying, weird weight cut, something was wrong with him type crap. He came in and just laid it out. I mean, the combinations were crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's switching stances in the middle of combinations, which is really, really difficult to do. If anybody knows about
Who
fighting,
else does that?
Not very many people.
Dillashaw.
I mean, Dillashaw does it. GSP does it. But, I mean, only the really good people do it. And he really showed off his striking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you.
And this is coming from a guy who really likes Brian Ortega. I'm rooting for Brian Ortega more than I was Holloway. So that just goes to show you how much Holloway did, because he won me over in that fight.
Yeah, and you know, he actually broke records on most significant strikes landed in a single round and in a single match.
Really?
Yeah, I think he landed over 200 something in the fourth round. Yeah, and the thing is like, so right at the end of the third round, beginning of the fourth round, he points down and says to Joe Rogan, "This is the round." And then he goes in there and he like just gives it to him.
Yeah.
The fourth round gives it to him, and then fourth round ends. They go back to their corners, and Max Holloway just goes, I guess next round, you know, better luck next time. I'll get him next round. And then next thing you know, doctor came in, looked at him, and they had to stop the fight because he was just beat so bad.
Right. Now I know it's going to sound a little hypocritical of me to say that that his corners should have stopped it and all that stuff. But guys, Brian was out there and he wasn't stopping. It wasn't like he was getting beat, but he was still throwing shots and intelligently defending himself. Even though the shots were getting in, He was throwing back. He was moving.
But it was getting worse.
It was getting worse because he was tired now. I mean, you get your ass beat for 15 straight minutes, you're going to get tired.
And he looked like a monster when it was done.
He did.
He looked like a new person. There's like footage of his corners, saying I don't want to see you go out there and die, and he actually made a statement and said, I was willing to die in that ring, but I do agree with the doctor stopping it. Because I would have let myself die in that ring.
Yeah, I mean he has the heart of a lion. T-City is you can't teach that, and that's that Mexican blood in him, I guess. Man, he was. I can't say enough good things about this fight. This fight had my attention from the moment they announced it, and it did not disappoint at all. Even though I didn't get the result I wanted, it definitely did not disappoint.
But and me and Ricky actually we came to an agreement, or we had a mutual thing where we both said, how Ricky likes the sport of it and the martial arts side of it, and I like the whole shit talking and I'm gonna beat your ass. I like excitement, but this had exactly the right amount where they both were two confident guys, but they respected each other enough to not go digging deep and hit low blows on the shit talk, and he didn't try to talk on. I think honestly though, Ortega didn't really talk enough shit. He was just like kind of weird, but Max Holloway did enough to make it very interesting.
Yeah, he still made it entertaining, and he didn't take low shots, and they respected each other in the end. They respected each other in the conferences and the press conferences, and even when they respected each other in the press conferences, and he said that he's better than him, he said that they're two guys on top, and he basically outhandled him on the mic. Holloway outhandled Ortega on the mic handedly, but the stare down at the weigh-ins was really intense, and it didn't have like that animosity in it. It was just two really good fighters staring each other down, not moving.
Yeah, they were dead. So it didn't have where they weren't over emotional, but they also weren't corny about it.
Right.
Some people get corny about it, and it's like, it kind of takes you out of the emotional part of the fight. It doesn't really keep the drama going where you're really invested in the fight. These people it was very intense, and it kept you very, and you know what? It lived up to the intensity of the build up and stare down. Like I said, it's literally one of the best performances you'll ever see in the ring, ever.
Yeah. I can't think of a better performance at recent memory.
That was such a good end to such a great card.
Yeah, and the rest of the card was awesome too. I mean, you want to start from the bottom or just work our way back?
Let's work our way back.
Okay, so Valentina and Joanna. So Valentina Shevchenko and Joanna Jędrzejczyk for the new strawweight title. That's 125 pounds, right?
All right, everybody. I want everybody to know that's the best I've ever heard him pronounce those names.
I've been practicing.
I'm very proud because I definitely can't pronounce them like that. I just be like Joanna and Valentina or Bullet and Joanna. But hey, Valentina she overall just outclassed Joanna. I mean, that's what we can say. Her speed and quickness is unmatched in UFC, really.
I think it has a lot to do with her technique, though. Her technique is very, very crisp.
But the quickness is because of the technique is so crisp.
Yes.
Like
no wasted movement.
Every move that she makes, you can see how quick it is. Like when she was doing like a spinning back kick, do you remember how quick it was?
Oh my God.
It was ridiculous.
No telegraph whatsoever. She didn't like what I mean by telegraph is sometimes a fighter will give a tell like they're about to spin and kick or something like that. She had none of that. I mean,
Yeah.
It was standing straight in her stance and then what? Right there. I mean, it was right in her guts, right in her chest. Every kick was on target.
Yeah. And, what Joanna is, what makes her successful in other fights in the UFC is her skill and quickness with it. But Valentina only did what she does, but does it better. So I don't ever see her ever beating Valentina.
I don't think she's ever beat Valentina.
No, but I mean, even if they ever fought again, because these are two of the top tier people in that roundabout weight class,
Yeah.
and there's no point in ever having that match again.
No, there's really not. I mean, quite frankly, I think Joanna needs to go down to 115 again. That's where she, even though Thug Rose has beat her.
Is there any notable matchups for her that even
In the 115?
that? I mean, she kind of Ronda Rousey herself, I think.
Who, Joanna?
Yeah, like, is there any matchups that even matter anymore to her?
Well, now they are, because she's lost against Rose Namajunas, and she went up a weight class, and she lost at Valentina. So this is, what, three fights? 2 against Rose,
So
1
what are they
against
gonna-
Valentina. She lost in a row so far?
So only thing to do, that's what I'm saying. No notable fights that are going to come up. Honestly, they're going to use her as a gatekeeper now.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing they can use her for.
Until she gets a couple win streak in there.
She better reinvent herself, because she can't beat Nama Nunes.
Right. I personally, I think Joanna needs to take some of that humble pie. She was delusional, saying
She still is.
that she's the queen of the division, that she's the queen of female MMA, and clearly she's not. She's just not. But
She's very skilled.
she is. Now I'm not disrespecting her at all, because she is a very skilled kickboxer. I think she needs to work on her technique a little bit, because I think she wings punches a little like Silva does.
She got that front kick that's like so quick though.
She does, but it doesn't work on heavier girls.
Yeah.
That's why she needs to stay down at 115.
And Valentina, she wants Amanda Nunes bad.
Isn't Amanda Nunes at 135?
Yeah.
Okay. So
But they fought before.
oh, they did.
Yeah.
Okay. How did that go for her? She lost, I guess.
It was a close fight, but I mean, in the post-fight conference, or not conference, but the post-fight interview, she had said she knows I won that fight, because she lost by decision, but she feels, and everybody else, a lot of other people, feels like Valentina actually won that fight.
Oh, something to go back and watch.
Well, I mean, I don't
Do you
think
think she's going to get that fight?
I don't know. Well, first of all, is it even worth it? Because we got to see Amanda Nunes versus Cyborg and how that goes. And
You and I both know Cyborg is going to fucking destroy her.
I don't know, dude.
Cyborg?
You know what? I'd be willing to take Amanda. I would actually go with Amanda Nunes in that fight.
Really?
I'll take Amanda Nunes.
Okay.
Cyborg's good and everything, and she's tough. But
she cannot spar with women. She spars with men. You do realize that, right? Like, she cannot spar with women.
She spars with women.
Because she hurts them.
I've seen her spar with women.
Who?
I don't know. Some of the Facebook groups I'm a part of, I've seen this girl that I guess she trains or whatever.
Yeah.
She'll share like pictures of herself or like pictures with her, and like she's like, "Oh, bloody nose! I trained with Cyborg today." I didn't really say nothing to her. I just saw it. I was scrolling through. I thought it was cool. But yeah, let's move on. Hey, Gunnar Nelson, when he fought Cowboy.
Alex Oliveira.
Yeah, that fight. Okay, so me and Ricky both thought Cowboy was going to win.
You know what? He was winning for the most part until it went to the ground.
Well, just because, because in case some of you guys didn't see it, or just remind you, because I thought it was so awesome. Gunnar Nelson comes out, comes to the ring, or the octagon, whatever you guys want to call it, and it's kind of lackluster entrance. Which you don't have to have a flashy entrance to the octagon.
But he didn't look excited for this fight.
He looked dead. He had no soul in his eyes. He barely was moving. And then you got Cowboy coming in. He was playing some kind of like
Brazilian hip hop.
Or whatever it was. It was just, but it was. I wouldn't even call it hip hop. It was like pop music. You know? Party music. He's coming in, smiling, dancing, singing along to it. They were trying to give him. Was it Vaseline they wiped on him before the match? Yeah. They were trying to give him that Vaseline for the beginning of the match, and the official, I guess that's what they're called. Yeah. He had to tell him, like, stop moving so I can wipe you down a little bit.
He bet you he wish he had some more of that now.
Get you greased up. Actually, matter of fact, I wonder if that's a factor because of how what happened.
So what happened was that they were fighting and went to the ground. Gunnar Nelson gets on top of Oliveira and hits him with this mean elbow to the forehead.
Well, hold on. I mean, that's the end of the match.
Okay.
But let's kind of lay out this match because I thought this match was so cool. So this starts off. They kind of meet up. They're tangoing. Doing the whole feeling each other out. Not too much. Not like not overdoing it.
Right.
And then next, Gunnar kind of comes at him, gets in almost like a clinch. They get up against the cage. He gets Oliveira against the cage.
Yeah.
And then Cowboy kind of gets him in like a headlock thing and then gives him a couple, maybe to the back of the head elbows. And then for the most part, did better than Gunnar on the ground for the rest of the match. Because it was kind of...
For the rest of that round.
I mean, for the rest of the round, I meant to say. And so they get stood up. Oh, the ref didn't even say nothing about the back of the head either. So they get stood up. They go to their corners. Next round starts. Gunnar's refreshed. Takes him down. And then I'll let Ricky finish it off because that's where he was going with it.
Oh, yeah. He gets on top of him. And he doesn't pass his guard. He starts punching on him. And he got like a good hook in or like a good hammer fist in. And
very bad.
And then he covered up a little bit. And then he hit him with an elbow. And man, he split him wide open. The blood was just leaking from this dude's forehead.
No, it wasn't leaking. It was like spraying out like a horror movie, dude. Like this is some shit you don't see, and this is not something you don't see this every day. Like this blood was bad just from one cut, and so right when he cut him, Gunnar takes his back, and then goes for a rear naked. But by the time he even had it almost cinched in, we saw Cowboy tapping because Cowboy saw that blood and he's like, ain't no way I'm fighting this.
Yeah, I think he tapped out to the blood too. I don't think it had anything to do with that submission.
Well, even if he saw that blood and he knew he was about to get submitted. He's like, fuck it, I ain't gonna, all that blood I'm not gonna have the strength to sit there and fight this.
Can you imagine if he squeezed on that neck though?
I know.
How much blood would have squirted out?
I think it could have been stopped way before he got his back.
I don't know. I mean, because the ref can't make that decision quickly.
They can stop the fight.
At least
and
say the doctor has to check it.
Well, it ended up being 29 stitches to the forehead.
Ooh, god damn!
And it was a little swollen afterwards, but I mean, it's a really cool picture. I'm pretty sure it's on his Instagram. Cowboy, what's his name again? It's Oliver.
It's Alex Oliveira.
Yeah. I get a couple of those Oliveiras mixed up.
Right, you got Charles, who is fighting up on the next card. But,
yeah.
This fight was Alex Oliveira, Alex Cowboy Oliveira.
He's so cool. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, Gunnar Nelson's a badass, but he's that silent, scary type. Think of Kane back in the day.
Think of a serial killer. Just that.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean. He's quiet. He's about business.
Yeah. I mean, before this fight, though, he looked very unassuming. He wasn't, like, ripped up.
He's still, like I said, I don't think he was that ripped up.
He was a hell of a lot better than what he used to be.
The pictures Ricky's talking about, I believe, were taken because he didn't look that much in the fight.
Right.
I've seen the pictures. They do look good. But he didn't look that good in person. He looked good, but it wasn't like, he didn't stay that in shape.
Yeah.
So what do we got next?
So the next one is Hakeem Dawodu versus Kyle Bochniak.
Oh my God! Yabba dabba dawadoo. Hey,
ain't that right?
That's another one I was off on, man. But Kyle Bochniak, he just looks so good against the beat, and I thought he was gonna have that grittiness to kind of get past. Man, Hakeem didn't give a shit. He wasn't even touched, and I remember that's one thing he said when the doctor went to. Because they always check on the fighters after the fight.
Yeah.
And he's like, what did he say? No.
He said, "I'm good. No one even touched me."
No, but he said,
like
no trauma.
Oh yeah.
No trauma. Right. He's like, I ain't even touched. I mean, and you know what? He wasn't lying. He didn't get touched. I mean, he schooled him.
Yes, he did. It was even though it was a decision. It was a decision victory. He put on a clinic of striking, and that guy didn't stand a chance.
Well, Botniak is a tough motherfucker, and just like Ortega, man, he stayed tough, and he stayed. His will didn't get broken.
No,
he was just outclassed.
yes. Now, Hakeem's got the weirdest mean face I've ever seen.
He does kind of look a little off.
I mean, if you see this guy, he just looks so mean all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think this guy's ever smiled for a picture yet. But
I didn't really know about him until that fight. I didn't know nothing about him.
yeah, but I didn't know much about him either.
I'm excited to see him fight again. Now, this right here, this fight coming. I mean, the fight we're about to talk. Jimmy Manuwa versus Thiago Santos. Oh my god,
that motherfucker wasn't joking.
That's literally. I was thinking about that in the car right up here. Yo, that motherfucker ain't joking.
Yes, sir.
Oh my god. Talking about excitement. If you are a bloodthirsty or bang out fight fan, watch that fight.
Yes.
Jesus. Oh my god. They were going at it. There was no holding back in either one of them.
Not at all.
They were not joking.
Man, it was just every punch that these two threw at each other was head hunting. I'm going to kill you punches.
It's what you say about my mama punch.
Yes.
Kick, everything.
Every punch kick was meant to kill you. It wasn't meant to set you up for the next punch. Every punch he was trying to take your head off your shoulders, both of these guys. And it went for 2 rounds. 2 rounds of this. And in the second round, Thiago Santos got him up against the cage and hit him with a left hook from fucking hell and just crumpled Jimmy Manuwa. Now, Jimmy Manuwa is not anyone to fuck with. I mean, he has been taking guys out left and right.
Yeah, I mean, they're both very skilled strikers, and you know what? That was the main card. That was the first fight in the main card, and talking about setting the fucking pace, dude.
That's how you start a fucking card.
That was so. I'm telling you, that was so good. That was such a good fight.
Yeah, if they could start that any cards like that,
that's the barn burner.
That's where you need. I mean, if Max Holloway wasn't so damn good, I think that would have been fight of the night.
Yeah, I mean,
that just it set the pace for the whole night right there, and that fight was awesome. And I think that Thiago Santos, this is a good move up for him to 205. So he's a 185er. Now, if you see this guy, you're going to be like, holy shit, he was 185?
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy he has to walk around at like 230. Has to.
He is. I can't wait to see him. Who do you think he's gonna be fighting next? Who would you like to see him fight next?
Oh my god, I don't even know. Wow, that's a crazy question. I don't know, man. I'd have to look that one up. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head right now. You don't want to put him in title contention right now. I want to see him have one more good fight, and if he destroys his next opponent, then you gotta put him up for number 1 contender. I think.
Did he ever fight Shogun? I think that'd be a good fight.
That would be a good fight.
And I think Shogun just coming off a win, and Santos just coming off a win. Around this, only a month apart.
Yeah,
it's good timing.
Yeah, that would let him heal up the same.
If that happens, I'm going with Santos.
Yeah,
but Shogun would be the one to really test him because Shogun can take a lot of damage.
Yes, he can, but not them power strikes. If he comes in with them power strikes like he was doing, shoo, good lord.
And the thing about Santos though is he's not. I mean, he did this jump kick, so he not only is he like striking all these really good heavy strikes. He's doing crazy things. He did this jump kick thing. He's not afraid to go for it.
No, he was not afraid to put it out there and put it on the line. And yeah, he definitely took over. I tell you what, though, if he beats Shogun, if that's the next fight for him as Shogun, I want to see him and Anthony Smith go at it.
They already fought. Remember, he just beat Anthony Smith. Remember, because that's what I was thinking at first too, and then I'm like, oh yeah, they fought. That's why we keep thinking about it, because it was such a good fight.
Oh, okay.
Never mind, it was Eric Anders.
Was it?
Who did Anthony Smith just get beat?
No. Anthony Smith just fought Shogun.
Oh, you know what? I think I was mixing up
Shogun.
some people. You know how I do that sometimes.
Right. So.
Okay, yeah. Fuck Shogun. Anthony Smith beat Shogun.
Yeah.
He needs to fight Thiago Santos.
Okay.
They might have fought before, but I would have to check. But
Yeah,
I know for a fact that would be a good
up.
fight.
Let's look that up.
That would be a great fight, because Anthony Smith has got a lot of hype behind him, and for good reasons, because he's been knocking motherfuckers out, and he's also somebody that came from 185 and moved up to 205 and just been fucking murking motherfuckers.
Yep. That's what I said, man. I stick by my decision and by my suggestion that everybody needs to move up a weight class to where you are naturally at. And the fights will be better because the fighters will be more healthy. They'll be more agile, more able. They're not drained from these weight cuts. Everybody needs to move up a weight class.
I've never heard that point before, but I think it's a really good point. And if all the listeners think it's a good point, and you think that Ricky should write a letter like I do, let us know. I'm just saying it's a recycled point.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a good point. But there's certain people that are already in their right weight class. I don't like the whole idea that, oh, he's a tall guy, so he has to who we talking about here? It's just any random.
Okay,
like,
we can talk Max Holloway.
James Vick.
Okay, James Vick.
He fights at 155. Oh, he's so tall. He's way too tall for the weight class. Well, if he feels comfortable in that weight class and he don't mind cutting a little bit of weight, let him.
I understand if you don't mind cutting a little bit of weight, but it's these guys that cut extreme amounts of weight and are sitting there and half killing themselves to get down to these weights because they want that little extra edge. And I think they're doing their bodies way more harm than it is good. That's just my feeling on it, and my opinion.
Yeah, and
so moving on, we'll go. That was the main card. Let's go down to the prelims.
I think as far as the prelims, because I kind of want to move past this too. I don't know about you, but
well, I want to talk at least.
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Fights.
Like, I would say that there was a couple like most of these, were just pretty good fights. Worth watching if you're a fight fan. But the fights that I think, and if you're not feeling the same way, you let me know.
I certainly
But the ones that I think that I would like to talk about, it was Gedalia versus Arsenal or whatever.
That was an upset.
Laprise versus Lima.
Yeah, Laprise versus Lima.
Was that the two you had or no?
No, it actually wasn't. But go ahead. What do you got? What do you got on? I do want to talk about Gedalia though. So
okay, so Nina
Azaroth and Claudia Gedalia. I'm working on the names here, people. I'm practicing. I'm trying.
So anyway, yeah, Nina, she did a good job, I believe. Like, I feel like was it you and Donovan telling me like there's no way that she won that?
No, she beat her. She beat her handedly, but
well, I mean, I vaguely remember.
I mean, it was a decision, but it was more like it was like Valentina and Joanna, where you expected the one that you expected to win came out really flat and didn't perform the way you anticipated her to perform. Gedalia was out there and she was flat. She wasn't as aggressive. And it seemed like Nina had an answer for everything that she threw at her.
I think. Well, so I don't think it wasn't a thing about looking flat, meaning like she didn't show up. She showed up. She just was getting shut down.
Yeah, Nina had an answer for her.
She had a game plan and it just didn't work because I believe she underestimated Nina's overall strength and defense.
Yeah, I agree. So. I know you wanted to talk about Lima, and that was a super quick fight.
Yeah, he caught him with a was that a left hook?
Yeah,
clipped him, and it
was a night of left hooks, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but I mean, and Laprice dropped, and at first he almost went for that, and it was like one of those where he almost hit him again, but then he did a walk-off, and it was a good walk-off knockout. It was a
Yeah,
cool
he didn't need
knockout.
to hit him again, and he knew it.
Well, he almost did just out of like instinct and stuff.
Right, he came over top of him, looked at him, was like, nah, not going to do it.
Okay, so what's your 2 fights?
My 2 fights was, so with Valentina winning, there was another 125 fight on the card, and that was Caitlin, I can't say that name.
Chukanagan or whatever.
Yeah. Chukanganin, I don't know, versus Jessica Evil Eye. And Jessica, I went to town on this girl. And
This is the one that I think you guys were saying that Jessica I didn't win. There's no way, or at least Donovan was.
yeah, Donovan was saying that she didn't win.
And I
But
kept saying, I was like, no, I got.
no.
I was a bad judge that night. I feel like because every time I said there was a decision win, every time I thought the person win, everybody in the room was like, "What match were you watching, buddy?" But side note, I was going through a little cold. I'm still getting over it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Jessica I, she wins the fight by decision unanimously. So that's what actually make her the number 1 contender to face Valentina. And she called out Valentina after she won the fight.
Yeah, and I remember thinking that her attitude behind it, though, the way she was calling her out, she was a little too excited for the performance was good, but it wasn't great.
Right. It wasn't championship caliber performance. She definitely needs to go back to the drawing board and sharpen her skills. But at this moment, Valentina doesn't have. It is the fight to make for Valentina.
Yeah, she edged out somebody. She edged out the other girl.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like she,
Right.
really did anything notable in my eyes.
Right. But with that 125 new class, I mean, you have the one girl, Moicano. I think that's her name.
No, that's a guy. Hanato Moicano.
No,
he's
what's
fighting
her
your
name?
boy Aldo.
She won the tough.
The girl.
Yeah. What? Nico Montagna.
Yeah, but did you see what? Well,
She can't
got
make
stripped.
the weight.
She got stripped.
Yeah, she can't make weight.
And what's her name? When they asked her, they were like, Valentina was like, "Who?"
Right.
Because
But she knows who it is. But that fight.
who the fuck is that bitch? That's what Valentina should have said.
I know. It would have been great to hear that.
Especially with her accent trying to do a.
Yeah, but they tried to make that fight so many times, and
she said she's not going to waste your time.
And I wouldn't either. I wouldn't give her now that you're the champ. You make the rules.
Oh, and they took
Montagna.
They took her off of the rankings for that weight class.
Good.
She's not even on the website rankings.
That's awesome. She doesn't need to be. She
They
missed
might cut
weight
her, I
three
guess.
times.
Who knows?
She missed weight 3 times. That's horrible.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
put her in there with Cyborg. You miss 125, 145.
And now you have to fight Cyborg. Kill her.
Good luck fighting John Jones.
That's what it feels like. While we're at it, there's only one more fight on that prelim. Elias Theodora versus Eric Anders.
Well, there's other fights that we didn't talk about, but you're talking about on the FS1 prelims.
Yeah, FS1 prelims. And I know.
That was such a weird match.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But there is a notable thing to talk about.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Say it.
What?
No. I want to hear this. I want to hear what you have to say.
So, post-fight interview, the winner, Elias Theodore, takes upon himself to campaign about medical marijuana, and he wants to be able to use it in his fight camp, and he thinks that they should allow it. So, he's kind of like not trying to, but he's probably going to pull in a lot of fans that also are fans of weed.
Yeah. That's one way to build a fan base.
I don't think he did that intentionally. I think he actually is truly.
No, he's a true advocate for it. But yeah,
he said that I was actually listening to an interview. I think it might have been on the UFC Unfiltered one. I don't remember what one it was. I watch a lot of things, but he was saying that he lives in Canada and it's legal there, and it's part of your medical. It's a right to have it, and he had it before it was even banned.
Well, it definitely helps. I mean, it's been shown to help so many people with CTE, with fatigue, muscle, helps you relax, all that stuff.
Smoke weed every day.
That's right. I'm telling you, man, that stuff is it's not as bad as we were led to believe it was.
Yeah, Reefer Madness.
Yeah. So
So that was the fights, and honestly, I would put that card against any other card and say it probably beats out any card I've ever seen.
yeah, that was one of the
Pound for pound, best fight card ever. I don't mean to keep cutting you off.
I was no. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that is the best card of the year so far.
Probably ever.
Well, okay. I know everybody's going to hear that and say, "What about Conor and Khabib?" But Conor and Khabib was just like 2 fights. This was a whole card. The whole card was good.
Yeah.
So that's why we're saying that this card stacks up against every other card this year. This card overperformed as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and well, I mean, even the next card coming up, that thing looks crazy, man.
Oh yeah. So do you want to jump into that, or do you want to mark out on all this drama that's going on?
Well, I mean,
It's up to you. I mean, the floor is yours.
let's get into some drama.
Let's get into some drama.
Hold on. Look, let's start off with not the drama you want to start off with, and then we'll get into that drama.
Okay.
So, the UFC's in trouble.
Oh yeah.
They're in trouble because one championship.
Yes.
They just got a TV deal starting in 2019 with Turner. Is it Turner or TNT?
The Turner Network Television, TNT.
And they're gonna have an app or whatever that you could watch certain fights with the Turner app.
Right. What I have here in my notes is One Championship signs a 3-year deal with TNT Network for 24 events to air live, as well as on the app. Now, 24 events live
In 3 years?
for 3 years, but that concerns me a little bit because of the time difference. I mean, are you gonna lock up TNT at 5 in the morning? Is everybody in America gonna watch that live at 5 in the morning because they're having fights in Singapore? I don't know, man.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
I think they gotta put. I want to see those 24 live events in America at a decent time. I mean, they
Cater to us, okay?
well, if we got the money and this is the branch that you want to branch out into to really solidify MMA dominance, then you got to cater to your audience.
Yeah, but they're already. I don't even. It's 100 some countries they're already airing to.
I agree, but the money's not in those countries like it is here, because that's why the UFC is technically bigger than them. And
Well, maybe they're gonna have the live events and then also have replays later on that day.
that's fine, but that's gonna hurt them in the long run because you're not gonna get the audience draw from your live events, and that's where that's where I would assume that you wouldn't make your money.
Well, I think you make a good point to where maybe UFC is not as in trouble as I thought, but it's only they can only get bigger in America by doing this.
I'm telling you, once those people see, I think UFC is in trouble because you got this one championship with a really, really big audience that isn't about the craziness that UFC's about, and they actually have a system where you fight and you get what you fight for. You don't get what your mouth can make. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at the same time, so like,
I mean, they signed
one championship can be for actual fight fans, but the difference is UFC doing all the antics and stuff. They're bringing in a lot of casuals, which really pays the bills over top of.
I agree.
You need the masses. You need to be mainstream to make the money.
Yes, you do, and I agree.
And one championship is not mainstream.
It's a fine line you walk. But I mean, they're signing big guys now. I mean, they signed Eddie Alvarez, they signed Demetrius Johnson, and they just recently signed Sage Northcutt.
Yeah.
And I know if you guys were listening to any tweets or any YouTube videos with Dana, he was saying that they let Sage go. And that cannot be further from the truth.
Yep.
Because Sage went on, I believe it was Ariel Lawani show, and he refuted all of that whole statement in the most respectful way I've ever heard. Did you hear this, kid?
No, I didn't. I honestly knew all this without even hearing either side. You could just, just from watching the business, I'm like, for a fact, they just couldn't meet the offers that one championship was giving them.
This kid is so squeaky clean, though.
Mr. Faber, Mr. Hawani.
Yes, Mr. Everybody, Mr. Hawani, Mr.
He's like
Faber.
He's like a little church boy,
Yes.
but he's also a badass.
He can fight. I'll give him that. But not one FC, one championship. What one championship has done for him is given him incentive along with a fat check.
Yeah.
So the incentives would be like TV and movie deals over in Singapore, and I'm sure these three guys that they just signed, Demetrius Johnson, Eddie Alvarez, and Sage, are going to be the poster boys for one championship when they do come to America.
Yeah, and, for one, it was smart to sign these guys because they represent what the brand that they're trying to uphold or whatever. Mm-hmm. But also, if they're trying to branch out in America, it's going to get the right fans to watch, and they're going to have plenty of training partners or whoever that they'll be like, hey, why don't you sign my boy? And
Yeah.
it's going to bring in a lot more fighters and a lot more, and hearing about how much money they're making, a lot of fighters might jump ship.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying.
gonna
UFC's
shuffle
in
the
trouble.
deck.
And if you really want to get technical too, there's another choice in town too. That PFL.
Yeah.
I heard some good things about PFL, and they're doing something different than all these other fight leagues and fight championships and other stuff, man. They're doing a point system like college wrestling or NASCAR, where you get a certain amount of points for a first round finish, and your next fight determines on how many points you get. So and they have a playoff. So like they do a regular season, and the winners of those regular season fights go to the playoffs, and then they go to the finals, and the winner gets $1 million.
Yeah, I've heard of PFL. I've heard those things about it, which is really cool. But how do you watch PFL? Because I really don't know.
PFL's on NBC Sports, so I mean it's not a big. You don't think when you think sports, you don't think NBC. I mean Olympics and everything.
Yeah,
but not a regular sports channel. But I think once they see that this $1 million check is real, people are gonna want a taste of that, because they're gonna be like, "Oh, that guy is not that good, and he got $1 million, and I'm over here fighting for the UFC for 30 grand. Oh, hell no!"
Yeah. Well, let's not forget, because we're talking about other places. Rising.
Oh yeah.
We still got Rising, and who's fighting in Rising?
It's a good time to be in MMA, man.
Your boy. That's what I was a statement I wanted to make was, hey, UFC might be in trouble. Might be, but all these people, all these bigger companies coming out and really getting, bigger, it's only good for MMA as a whole.
Yes,
because for one, it's gonna force UFC to fix a lot of their problems, and for two, we just have so much to watch. You know what I mean?
God, it's gonna be hard to keep up with you guys. I'm telling you.
Well, I'm gonna pick a few favorites and then watch it. Like Ryzen, I'm probably only ever gonna catch highlights or maybe watch a match or two on YouTube. I'm probably never gonna watch a full Ryzen card.
I'm kind of interested in PFL now that I know they got playoffs and kind of a more systematic way of picking their fights. So I want to check out PFL.
Yeah.
And one championship. Just their presentation, their production, and the way they went about things, that has won me over. So I want to check out UFC. That's a staple. One championship and PFL. I'm not ready for Ryzen or any other lower kind of stuff.
Bellator is good. It's just hard for me to care.
Yeah, I agree.
I just like it as like a snack. You know what I mean? Like
it's good in small doses.
Yeah, UFC is like your everyday I need that.
Yes.
And then one championship is like that new favorite food you got, because I mean I really like one championship.
Yeah.
It's just you can I wish it was like better times than at 5 a.m.
Yeah, that's so horrible. But I mean, again, we live on this side of the world. They live on that side. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. So you want to get into some injuries or some unbelievably stupidity from the UFC?
Well, I mean we can pass through the injuries right quick, like just because it's gonna be easy.
Okay.
Cruz is injured. He's out.
Yeah. So John Lineker is he's got to find a replacement. And the rumor I hear is Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah, but so was this fight supposed to be on the card that got taken off?
Yeah.
They might run it later on, both of them together. We got to see how long Cruz is out.
So do we know what Cruz?
I think it might be his knee again.
His knee again? Now, Cruz injured his knee before, and he was out for, 2 years?
Yeah.
And he injured his knee again?
I'm not sure if it's a knee. It might be.
I don't know, man. Just saying, maybe it's time to hang him up.
Well, he's really good at his analysts.
Oh, yeah.
And
Play-by-play for Cruz.
Yeah.
That's where his career is.
And then, is there any other injuries?
Let me think.
Well, the injury that it will segue right into our.
Oh, you talk about Woodley?
Yeah, his injury.
Okay.
It segues right into our meaty.
Yeah.
Oh God, this is drama.
I want to talk about this because I'm a sportsman when it comes down to the fights, but when everything leading up to it, I like the drama, and this is good and juicy. I like it.
So Woodley, when he fought Darren Till, his last fight, he fucked Darren Till up.
Oh yeah.
He was literally they gave Woodley the underdog. They had Darren Till as a favorite.
Yeah, and Tyron Woodley is the fucking champion.
Yeah, and hey, not only is he a great striker, he's got knockout power, and he's got great wrestling. It's like, dude, this guy is a fucking force to be reckoned with. And then you're gonna have just this new, hyped up striker who's an awkward striker, which awkward can be good. It's hard to, train for that.
Yeah.
But how you gonna make him a favorite?
Yeah.
So anyway, he fucked him up. Actually, punched him one time where he fucked his thumb up. He went to the doctor. He kept trying to. I'll keep up with Woodley. I'm a big fan. And when his Instagram live, he'll do Instagram live. He was literally trying to go about it to where he didn't have to get surgery, and he went to get another doctor's
second opinion,
and that doctor was like, "No, you're getting surgery right the fuck now."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's like, "Fuck it."
So here comes the drama. Okay, so let me lay this out for you real quick. So Tyron Woodley, since he got hurt with the Darren Till fight, he was only out maybe 3 months, and they said, "Oh, Woodley's hurt. Let's do an interim title," which is fucking stupid. And so they did an interim title between Colby Covington and RDA, right?
Yes. Yes.
And Colby Covington beat RDA for the interim title. So now you have a champion that's injured and Colby Covington having the interim title. So that goes on for a little bit, and then they strip Colby of the interim title because he has a broken nose.
No. It was a sinus issue.
It was something in his nose.
Whatever. It kind of sounded like bullshit, but at the same time, I think Colby was trying to hold off for the better later card because he thought he would make more money on a later card.
Right. And so Colby's trying to be strategic, but it's blowing up in his fucking face. So in comes Kamaru Usman, and Kamaru Usman has been slowly creeping up and just destroying everybody that he comes in contact with. And now he has solidified himself as a number one contender. And after that comes this new guy named Ben Askren. And Ben Askren likes to talk shit. A lot of shit.
calling out everyone.
He calls out everybody, and he hasn't even fought in the fucking UFC yet. Now, granted, he has a very high pedigree. He was the one championship champion over there, and he's undefeated in that.
But I would say even like the savviest or whatever, the most in the know people, can they name 3 guys that Ben Askren beat?
Not good ones. No.
I couldn't name one. I literally purposely looked it up to try and figure out how good Ben Askren is.
Right. I mean, the only notable name that I can think of is Jay Heron, and that's not saying much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not saying that means he's not skilled. It just means he hasn't shown it yet.
He hasn't been tested with high caliber talent. But
they might have been talented fighters. They're just not well known.
Right.
You know what I mean? And until he fights somebody in the big leagues, UFC, maybe he shouldn't be talking like that, because I'm ready to see him test it.
Right. So in comes this new card for the UFC. The UFC is going to ESPN soon, and they want to throw this big card, and they need a headliner. So what do? They asked Tyron, can you fight? Tyron does not say no, and he doesn't say yes either. He says, let me go to my doctor and let me get his opinion whether or not I'll be ready to fight on that date. Well, Dana pitched a fit and said, well, Tyron doesn't want to fight. Tyron is injured. There's always something wrong with Tyron, which is complete bullshit.
He hates Tyron.
And it's not Tyron's fucking fault. It's not. Tyron said he's going to fight when he's injured, when he's healthy. Tyron will fight when he's healthy.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't know everything that happens, off air.
Right.
But I mean, he is rumored to be hard to deal with. But at the same time,
what? I mean,
they're fighters, dude.
Yes. Is it now? Let's go this way. Is it Tyron's fault that the UFC doesn't have another headliner for their card? Is it Tyron's job to make them be their savior? I don't think so. They have over 550 fighters on the roster, and it seems like Tyron gets asked to fight more than anybody else.
Yeah.
Especially when he's injured.
And he tries to Dana tries to bully him with the media, trying to talk all kinds of shit. And it's like, dude, and when Woodley beat the shit out of the Till, you can definitely find it on YouTube. You can find plenty of pictures. You should see Dana White's face in the background when because he always hands the belt to the winner of the championship fights, and Dana White's face is like he just hates life because fucking Woodley did exactly what Dana didn't want him to do, and that's actually win and beat the upcoming guy because he was in England. They're trying to expand to England. Money wise, it would have been a lot better for UFC.
Right. Tyron's not as marketable as other fighters.
Well, like I said, they've been trying to expand into England better.
Yes. Now, so with that being said, the show, Ariel Helwani show, comes up, and he has an interview with 3 of these fighters. He has an interview with Ben Askren, he has an interview with Kamaru Usman, and he has an interview with Tyron Woodley.
Colby.
Not Colby. He didn't have Colby. Colby was on another show. But so Ben Askren says that he will take anybody at this point. He doesn't give a shit.
That's what he's been saying.
Yeah. But he is scheduled to fight Robbie Lawler and doesn't think that Robbie Lawler is going to fight this because Ben Askren was scheduled to fight Robbie Lawler 7 days prior to the fight, to this new ESPN deal.
Yeah.
And he said, well, why don't I headline it? And Robbie Lawler said, no, he needs more time to train. Like, dude, it's 7 fucking days. If you're not ready in 7 fucking days, you're not going to be ready. Come on.
Yeah.
He needs to take that fucking fight. So Robbie said no. And Dana didn't say shit to Robbie when he turned down that fight. But he's going to put Tyron on blast because Tyron's injured legitimately. But Robbie Lawler needs some more time to train.
Well, I heard there actually might be a knee injury with Lawler.
Oh, well, that just proves that just further
Same thing as Woodley.
Yeah.
Might be an injury.
might be an injury, but he's not getting blasted on the media.
No.
So Askren says, "Well, fuck it, I'll fight
Colby.
Colby." And Colby, he calls out Colby. Colby doesn't say a fucking word.
Yeah.
He doesn't want anything to do with Askren.
Other than Woodley. He just wants Woodley.
Yeah, that's all he wants.
He
And
earned that fight.
He did earn that fight. He earned that fight, and that's where the title is. So I don't blame Colby, but if somebody's calling you out, man, don't stay silent. Don't stay silent.
Well, hey, it's a good move.
It's
You don't want to if he responded at all, it would give more ears on that fight. So
Well-
people will want that fight more.
right, and it does, because then when Colby didn't say anything, he moved on. Askren moved on to Usman, and he told Ariel, he said, "Ariel, is this Marty from Nebraska?" Because apparently they knew each other in Nebraska when they were wrestling.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, this guy called himself Kumar, and his real name is Marty, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I looked into it, guys. Now, Kumar Usman
Kamaru and Dean or something like
yeah,
that.
that's his real name is Kamarin Dean. So he doesn't even go by his full name in the UFC. But in college, they called him Marty for short, because I don't think his coach could pronounce Kamaruddin.
It could have been a nickname he was brought up with his whole life.
Right.
Who knows?
Who knows? But anyway, it got under his fucking skin. So right after the interview with Askren and Ariel, excuse me, Kumar called in to Ariel and said, "Fuck that guy. Fuck that curly-headed idiot. I will flatline his ass." And he explained the whole name situation, and he basically said, "I earned my title shot. This guy, this curly-head idiot, hasn't even fought in the UFC. He doesn't deserve to fight me."
Yeah.
And Kumar makes a good point, but Askren right now is the entertaining fight. He's the shit talker that you want to see get punched in the face. He's trying to do a mixture of Connor and Chael.
When's the last time RDA fought?
He just got his ass beat by Kumar Usman.
Why not give Askren him?
That's
Because Woodley and Usman and Colby already beat RDA.
right.
Why not give since it dropped RDA's stock down, give Ben Askren him.
Well, because Dana doesn't like Ben Askren.
Well, no shit.
Well, Dana doesn't like Ben Askren. Dana wants Ben Askren to lose. So that's why he booked Robbie Lawler to fight him. Because
That's a dumb move.
well, he thinks that the brawler will beat the wrestler in that case. But if he gives him RDA, he's giving him an easy fight. No disrespect.
No.
No disrespect to RDA, but RDA has lost to two decent wrestlers.
I'd be willing to bet Robbie Lawler is an easier matchup than RDA for Askren.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You think Lawler is a lot of people. I feel like people
You say Lawler's overrated?
Lawler's overrated. He's good,
Yeah.
but he's not that good, man.
All right. I get it. I get it. I get it. But so anyway,
RDA beat Lawler.
so
right?
I don't know. Did he?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think
We have to.
That was
We
a
have
pretty
to
good
look
match.
that one up. I don't know.
it's a pretty good match. But at the same time, it was like they said RDA landed so many punches in a row in that combination. You remember? And all it was Lawler was letting him kind of hit him and catching his breath.
Yeah, because Lawler's just a toughest leather fighter, and he'll take a few just to get one. But so with that being said, Askren predicted that him and Kamar Usman would be fighting now by the end of the week. So with the drama that's ensued, that is a fight to make. That's an easy sell for a fight, is Askren and Usman. They're already talking shit to one another, might as well. So Usman knows this. So Usman goes and gets a fight agreement and signs it and posts it up on social media. Says, Woodley, I've signed my half. Now you have to sign yours. Basically pressuring Woodley to a fight. And so he doesn't have to fight Askren. So Askren can look at this like Usman is ducking him, and Usman can look at it like, I earned my title shot. I need to get my title shot. And this leaves Colby out in the fucking cold. What do you think?
I think Colby's next. Woodley stated that. He even said to Usman, like, hey, look, man, you're next in line, but Colby's got to... I have to beat Colby's ass. That's what he said. Colby's talked too much shit. And you know what? And everybody hates Colby. He does that cornball shit where he tries to talk shit, but it's also like wink, wink.
Tongue in cheek, the whole nine.
You know, but at the same time, it's like he's doing clever shit.
Right.
It's whatever. It's a little bit overacting and stuff, but at the same time, it gives everyone somebody to dig at. It keeps it interesting. He is good for the welterweight division.
Oh yeah. He's definitely makes it entertaining, and you want to punch him in the face. I know that.
Yeah, and
you definitely want to punch that guy in the face.
Some of his videos are funny as hell.
Yeah.
And
he is a Trump supporter, and he says make the welterweight division great again.
Yeah, and Woodley actually even said, I bet that man didn't even vote for Trump.
Oh, I highly doubt that. Yeah. I know he voted for Trump.
But you know what I mean? Yeah. He's just an act.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's just saying he's a gimmick. He's a gimmick fighter.
Yeah, he's trying to hold WWE thing, which, hey, whatever. That's all
how you make money apparently in the UFC.
Yep. And if you think about it, me and Ricky, we was on our cousin Kevin's podcast,
The Backlog Exposed.
We recorded last night with him, and
yeah, you got to check that out, guys. The Backlog Exposed podcast. It's all about gaming. He does a really good job.
And, he talks about his personal life. It's definitely fun to listen to, and you definitely want to get involved and message him, talk to him, and he'll definitely message you back, and he'll play the games with you too. It's definitely fun. But they were talking a lot about WWE and WWF and stuff, and and I was saying how I always loved the Attitude Era, and for you guys who don't know what it is, it was back when Stone Cold and all them, and it was all about drinking beer, kicking ass, and
it was shock and all wrestling is what it was.
Yeah, it was like and just think about the Jerry Springer days. It was a better time.
Yeah.
And
nobody
better time for in my eyes.
Yeah,
some people might not view it as a better time.
Nobody got offended.
But it seems like UFC is kind of going towards that, which I'm all for that, because everybody in this PC world, everybody's got to be politically correct. You know what? Fuck it. It's two guys going in there trying to beat the shit out of each other, or make the other guy fucking scream uncle, and they're not trying to be nice to one another. Why would they be nice to one another before the match?
Right.
So I'm all for that, all for the antics, and I think that's going to keep UFC relevant.
I mean,
compared to the other ones,
I like the antics up until the fight is made. Once the fight is made, it's a sport at that point. Then you got to show respect for your opponent. That's my belief. Once it goes into a sport, it's a sport. But outside of that, leading up to the fight, free reign on the drama. Bring it to me. I like that portion of it.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to argue with you about it. I was just trying to say.
I'm going to bring that argument up every fucking time.
I'm trying to say that I think because UFC does that, it's going to keep them relevant compared when all the other ones start getting.
Yeah, that's going to be their niche.
Yeah,
that's going to be their niche. I get that.
So,
well, speaking of niches,
yeah, go ahead.
How about this unbelievably stupidity personified on this card for ESPN?
What do you mean?
So, how do you think this feels in this new PC world? We have a fighter fight card coming up for the new ESPN. It's the very first ESPN card, so they want to make a good impression. So they give they picked the two most beautiful fighters to fight, and that would be Paige Van Zandt and Rachel Ostovich.
Yeah.
So they get together and they're gonna fight. Well, leading up to the fight, breaking news: Rachel Ostovich has been attacked, and it turns out that there's an alleged domestic violence thing where
They say they had pictures. I don't know how if that was literally from her domestic abuse or from a fight, but the picture definitely didn't look good.
apparently she broke her orbital bone in this attack.
Yeah.
And, well, luckily it was far enough out that the doctor said she'll be fine and she can fight. So, what does UFC do along with that? They say, great, we can spin this. She's going to dedicate her fight to be against domestic violence, which is kind of strange to me. You're going to fight against domestic violence. It's kind of a contradiction in itself a little bit. But I understand what she's trying to do. She's trying to turn a negative into a positive, which is great. UFC, on the other hand, totally diminishes all of that by having Greg fucking Hardy on the fight.
Okay, so
Now, Greg Hardy, if
that
you guys,
fight was off for a minute, though.
yeah,
The
but
Paige Van Zandt and Ostovich fight was off for a minute. I think they booked the fight after that fight got canceled.
but come on, dude. The bigger fight here is Paige Van Zandt and Rachel Ostovich. Greg Hardy is a relatively unknown MMA fighter. Granted, he was a great NFL dude that got caught up in domestic violence, and he was on the opposite end of it. He was
Well,
the one causing domestic
CM
violence.
Punk, CM Punk.
What about CM Punk?
This is where I don't agree with UFC's. This is one thing I don't agree. So they take these people that have notable names outside of the UFC and
Right.
and give them more leeway than others. And CM Punk, for one, he's a pro wrestler. He wanted to try MMA. They gave him 2 fights. Both times he didn't perform at all. He looked like shit.
Yeah.
Greg Hardy, they've been at the Dana White
Contender
series. They were hand feeding him some opponents. I believe they were hand feeding him. I could be wrong. We got to see him fight more people.
Right.
But I mean, the last fight he fought was this fat boy. Like, and I'm not saying you can't fight if you're fat, but who is he?
Yeah, and even the guy that he's fighting on this card.
Who is he fighting?
Who is he? I don't know.
I didn't even look at the name. I just know that he's on the card.
It's not anyone of note. I'll tell you that. So why would you be that stupid if you're booking these fights to have a guy like that on the card?
Well, I'll tell you what. I hope he knocks the dude the fuck out. So they hand feed Derek Lewis because Derek Lewis from the very beginning, from when Greg Hardy first got even mentioned that he was going to be in a contender series, he said he beat the shit out of him because he don't like guys that beat on women.
I don't blame him.
And then I think recently Greg Hardy was like, "Yeah, I'll fight Derek Lewis." Yeah, you're fucking mind.
Derek Lewis would fucking destroy Greg Hardy.
Well, hopefully. I mean, everybody's got a puncher's chance, dude.
I guess, yeah. But
Hey, you never know. We could be underestimating Greg Hardy.
But I mean, this is gonna but with the UFC making these fights, both of these people on this card, it's just a PR suicide. I mean, this is gonna take over that whole card. Yeah,
Is it?
I guarantee it will.
Or is it getting random people talking about it?
It's getting a lot of.
We're talking about the card now, aren't we?
I agree. We're talking about the card, but we're not talking about the fight card. We're talking about 2 people caught in a domestic violence thing that don't even have anything to do with one another.
Yeah, well,
We're talking about how stupid the UFC is for booking this. We're not talking about, oh, it's going to be a great card.
it's
We
going to
got
make
this
people
one,
watch.
this one,
It's
this
going to
one.
make people watch. And they're going to want to see Greg Hardy get his ass whipped.
I hope.
I hope he wins. I keep saying that.
I hope he gets his ass beat so we don't have to hear him.
I wish the best for him.
Go ahead. I mean, I
don't like the fact that he whipped or he
beat on women.
He abused women or
Right.
whatever. But I still hope the best for the guy.
And I agree. If it's in your past, it's in your past. This was a long time ago. It wasn't. It was what, 10 years ago that he had this problem.
But the only reason I'm hoping, like I said, the only reason I'm really hoping that he wins is because I want to see the whole storyline of him versus Derek Lewis build up. Because I think Derek Lewis needs that. something a little outlandish, but still keep him relevant. Derek Lewis has been doing shows and movies and stuff on his Instagram. He had all this. He said he was frozen in the show.
Yeah.
He had all this white stuff all over him, and there was all these memes going around like John Jones sneezed on him because John Jones got popped for cocaine before.
Oh yeah, yeah. But so moving on, I guess. There's one more thing. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I was just pointing at Ricky, telling him we couldn't hear him that well.
So there's one more thing I'd like to talk about, drama-wise. What the fuck is Donald Cerrone thinking? He teased us saying that the next fight that he's gonna get is gonna be a really good one, and that we can't wait to see it.
Well,
Everybody's thinking Conor.
This is still a good fight, and he actually even said like he posted a picture on Instagram of Conor saying, "I'm just waiting on you." So
that's even teasing us even more.
He was trying, and you know what? It might have been a fight that they were thinking about doing, but obviously Conor got a better fight coming up.
Yeah, well,
Max Holloway.
Yeah,
but
is that a better fight for Conor, or is that a worse fight for Conor?
It's a championship fight, dude. It's a better fight.
It's not going to be at the 145. It's going to be at 155.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you positive?
No, I'm not positive. I mean, I'm not the bookmaker, but I would assume that Conor can't drop that weight like that anymore.
Who knows? Either way, it's definitely a fight to do.
It is.
So it would be enough for Max to move up, which that would be a thing. It's enough. He's enough of a name for Max to move up and do 155, and also the fact that it could possibly be a championship might make McGregor want to drop. But you know what? You're probably right. Probably 55.
Yeah. But anyway, Donald Cerrone, instead of waiting for a better fight, he takes the first fight, or not the first fight, but a crappy fight, I think, against Alexander Hernandez.
This guy, he's new, and he's was he 10-1?
Okay, but if he loses, if Cerrone loses, he's now taken out of the rankings for a title contention. But if he would have waited for say a top 5 fighter, or top even a top 8 fighter, not saying top 10, but either a top 5 or top 8 fighter, that would have been better for Donald Cerrone.
But the people that are true Cowboy fans, which you're obviously not, what we love about him is he'll fight anyone, anywhere, anytime. Sometimes he gets the shit on his stick. He fought Darren Till and got fucking smoked. You know what?
That's great. That's great for Cowboy.
He might do good against Alex Hernandez.
He may, but this is the thing. Once you get into the Mike Perry fight, projected him into the spotlight that he wanted finally.
And this new guy's got a lot of hype. It's not like this. If he wins, he's not gonna stay right back relevant.
No, I'm just saying.
He's punching down or whatever?
Yeah, he's punching down. He's not punching up. He's punching down. He was higher on the rank.
Lineker.
Right.
He's like, this guy's not. But like I said, I think this new guy, or you know what I mean, he's not really a household name, Alex Hernandez.
Correct.
But he might have enough of a hype tour and skill set to where they're like, well, that still keeps you in tight. But
I don't think I would feel as bad about it if he didn't hype the fight that he was going to try and fight Conor or Dustin.
He's trying to get the best fight he can, but I guess, well, Dustin Poirier, and he tried and call out El Kakui.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, depends on Khabib and Conor, how long they're going to be out for their suspension. I mean, because they just put that off till January 29th or 26th, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm keeping up with that, but I know that I think he called Dustin Poirier called Tony Ferguson a pussy fart.
Shut the fuck up.
It was so weird. And and Tony Ferguson was like, I liked you better when you didn't talk shit. This don't even sound good or whatever. He's like, but if you want it, you can get it. I'm paraphrasing. I don't know exactly what he said, but it was like along those lines. But it was something like pussy fart or something stupid. He called him a pussy. It was some weirdo, like little kid type shit. But
Right. I know you are what behind.
but hey, it keeps it interesting. I think, I don't know, man. I mean, it probably will go the same. It probably will resemble Tony when he fought his last fight. I think because like you think about Dustin Poirier, he's kind of a striker mostly, and
Yeah, he's on a tear.
But
he really showed his skill set when he beat Eddie Alvarez, and he beat him handedly.
when he beat Gaethje.
Yeah, and then they beat Gaethje right after.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been on a tear. So I mean, Dustin has earned his shot.
Dustin Diamond.
Poirier. He does deserve his shot and his time in the spotlight. But,
And Conor beat him before.
yeah, Conor fucking waxed that ass.
But, him versus Tony Ferguson, that's an interesting matchup that might come up. But since we're talking about future fights, let's get into the fights that we're going to be watching this weekend.
Awesome, yes.
Because I'm definitely excited about these fights.
So coming up tomorrow, we got Bellator. Michael Chandler versus Brent Primus. That's a rematch. That's good. I like Michael Chandler. Always have.
Yeah.
I know you don't probably know too much about the guy.
I've seen clips, and I followed him on Instagram, I believe, but it's not. I haven't really went out my way to watch his fights like that.
I'm looking forward to it. It's a nice way to end a Friday.
Yeah, and then with the co-main event for that?
Frank Mir.
Yeah, that's interesting because he's
versing Yavi Alala.
Well, he don't have USADA on his back anymore over in Bellator, so he can have plenty of that kangaroo meat.
That's right. Gotta get some kangaroo in you.
You're talking about Gunnar Nelson looking good.
Oh yeah,
Frank Mir
looks
man,
amazing.
That kangaroo meat, man.
Yeah, wink, wink, kangaroo meat.
Yeah, Bellator's like, yep, we'll fly him down to Australia.
Yeah. Get whatever keeps him healthy.
By the way, guys, in case you're not in the know, the last fight that Frank Mir had with UFC, which was a while ago, maybe even a couple years ago, he got popped for steroids, and he absolutely denied it and said, "Hey, I was in Australia. I ate some kangaroo meat. It must have been spiked with steroids." Like, come on now. That's the sorriest excuse out there. You should have just went with the most common one, tainted supplements. But fuck it. He was like, you know what? Fuck it. And then he signed with Bellator instead. Easy. He needs, if you need it, you need it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and Frank Mir is easily one of the worst submissions I've ever seen. Worst as in meaning it was so devastating and nasty. Him versus Nogueira. Oh my God, he didn't give him time. He might have gave him a second to tap. He had him in the Kimura.
Oh my God.
And then he's like, "Oh, you're not tapping immediately?
That
I'm
arm
fucking
is
taking
mine.
this arm."
That arm is mine.
And the snap. Oh, I'm literally getting goosebumps thinking about it right now, yo. It's cringe fucking. That snap of the fucking bone. And you just see that bitch snap. Oh my God. Look that fight up, man. That's nasty.
Turns your stomach. And that's not the first time he's done it either. He did it to Tim Sylvia.
But that's the worst one,
Oh,
really.
yes,
Come on
that
now.
was the worst one.
And who's Frank Mir fighting?
A guy named Javi Alaya.
I don't know.
I don't know much about the guy, but just to give you guys Frank Mir's 39 years old, so he's getting in the twilight of his career. And
He's fought Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, he destroyed Brock Lesnar.
He lost once to him.
Oh, he badly lost to him.
Yeah.
But the first fight he knee barred him very quickly. But Frank Mir he needs his kangaroo meat, everybody. So I'm glad to see him in Bellator, and I wish him the best. I hope he wins on Friday.
So Saturday.
And Saturday we have two. We have a UFC fight and a Bellator fight.
Well, let's go over the Bellator fight because it's not going to be nearly as much.
Okay.
I'm not going to talk nearly as much.
Okay, so I'll just do the main event and the co-main event. So the main event is a strawweight women's title, and now this all takes place in Hawaii. So Bellator beat UFC by going over to Hawaii first, which Max Holloway has been campaigning for. But so the main event is Lima-Lei McFarland versus Valerie Latumaru. There you go. Yeah, I'm trying, guys. I'm trying to get these names down. So Lima-Lei McFarland is on a tear, and she's the champ right now. And I'd like to see her and Valentina go one day because they are similar styles, kickboxers. But I think Lima-Lei has a little bit more jiu-jitsu with that Hawaiian style with BJ Penn, and I believe she even trains with Max Holloway.
Yeah, but let's not. I mean, if you're going to talk about that matchup, I just want to point out that you're saying jiu-jitsu, but Valentina, come on now, she has the ground and pound. It's vicious.
Yeah, but
you don't remember her fighting that, and then Mario Yamasaki pretty much got banned from UFC because she beat the. But either way,
yeah, she beat the brakes off that
That's probably
girl.
not going to happen.
No.
That matchup.
But the other match is former UFC fighter Lyoto Machida versus Rafael Galvao. Excuse me. Rafael Galvao. There we go. So Lyoto Machida, he's a little in his twilight of his career. He needs his kangaroo meat too, or his morning piss, which is so nasty.
He drinks his own piss.
Yeah.
He literally drinks his own. There's videos, and there's also a video, because like when somebody told me this, I didn't believe it. I had to look it up. And then the more you dive into it, there's so many videos of him drinking his own piss. And then there was one where it's a beautiful, what do they call it? Like when a beautiful interviewer.
Oh, yeah.
Like a news lady or something.
Yeah.
She's talking to Lyoto Machida, and they're talking about piss and drinking it. And he said, he's telling a story how his father and grandfather or something like that. Who cares? I don't give a fuck what your reason is. You're a dirty motherfucker. So anyway, the news reporter was like, fuck it, let's do this. They both piss in a cup and then exchange it. They drink each other's piss. So not only is he drinking his own piss, he's drinking other people's piss. He's a piss drinking son of a bitch. What the fuck is wrong with you? Who the fuck told that guy to drink piss?
Oh my God. But hey,
you could tell me that
he's a champion though.
Unless it's going to make me invincible, I ain't drinking my own piss.
Well, apparently it makes him invincible. He's knocking out people left and right, and he makes his Bellator debut on Saturday in Hawaii.
And I don't know about you, but sometimes my first morning piss is mad bubbly. Imagine trying to down that motherfucker. And I piss more than a fucking cup full. I piss a whole goddamn liter. Go ahead, Machida. I'll send my piss to you, Machida, if you're listening and you need extra piss. I'll piss in a cup and send it to you, bro. You piss drinking weirdo.
Oh man. Oh, real quick, another fight on that card is King Mo Muhammad Lalal versus Liam McGreevy. And that should be a good fight. King Mo's coming off of a loss, but he's gonna redeem himself here.
I feel like
what?
King Mo, he's been around a long time, right?
Yes, he is.
And he's probably trying to stay relevant.
He is. I mean, he tried to do that tournament, that heavyweight tournament, but Ryan Bader took him out quite quickly.
Yeah.
So,
I remember now.
So let's go on to the Saturday UFC fight that we're going to be watching intently.
I've been excited for this card for a while.
So break it down, son.
Well, I think it's the last fight on Fox.
Yes, yes, it is.
So last UFC fight on Fox, it's the headlining main event is Kevin Lee versus Iaquinta.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Raging Al.
They fought before.
And Al whipped that ass.
Yes, but if you compare the two's career after that, Lee might have been doing better. Since they fought, Lee has been fighting better fighters.
Okay.
And being more active.
Who did Lee fight last? Do you know?
Give me a second. Was it Ferguson? No. It was Edson Barboza.
Mm-hmm.
And that fight was awesome. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
He got kicked. He was doing a dance all over the thing. He showed that he can get hurt.
Yeah.
And keep on coming. He showed a little bit of heart.
Yeah.
But does Kevin Lee have the heart of Iaquinta?
Hell no. And I like Kevin Lee, but I seen the fight. I had to go back and rewatch Kevin Lee versus Al, the first one. Now,
see the point I was trying to make, that between the two, Lee has shown the most improvement since the first time they fought.
yeah,
That's why I said the more active, the more. So Lee is a way better fighter than he was then.
yeah.
Iaquinta might have made a little bit of improvement here and there, but almost the same fighter.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think Al. So Al.
I mean, he hasn't done anything new.
Yeah, I mean Al's Al. He's a tough son of a bitch. That's the type of fighter he is.
Yeah.
He's well rounded. He's not exceptional anywhere other than the fact that he's fucking psychotic, and he likes to be punched in the face
Repeatedly.
He don't give a fuck.
And he will come back and he will put you on your ass.
There is no tired with him. I mean, he'll show. I mean, he'll be tired, but he doesn't stop.
No.
He doesn't stop.
He can. I think he could go 12 rounds.
Probably more than that.
I think he could. He's got cardio for days.
You know, he's like Jake LaMotta. You ever seen Raging Bull?
Yeah.
Oh, Raging Al.
There you go.
See, I always thought it was because he was a raging alcoholic. But, you know, he goes by Raging Al.
Yeah.
Raging Al Iaquinta. And you know what? It fits.
Yes.
It's a fitting name. And you got what? Kevin Lee. He's the
Motown.
whatever. He's from Detroit.
Yeah. Motown monster or something like that. I
Whatever.
forget. But now, if you're Kevin Lee, would you go on to a radio interview with your opponent's coach interviewing you?
Yes.
You would.
It doesn't matter. I actually listened to that today.
I listened to it too, and I think that it was a stupid move for Kevin to do that. Because he couldn't talk. He couldn't say anything. He couldn't talk the way he wanted to. Granted, he got under Matt Serra's skin a little bit.
I don't think he did.
He started to.
Like what?
He said, yeah, how is Al going to beat me? And
It was all a joke.
I understand that, but it wasn't like he was tongue-in-cheek joking. So he half meant it. You know? He was just trying to get a rise out of Matt Serra a little bit. But again, he couldn't talk. Now, for those that don't know, Matt Serra is Raging Al's coach.
I don't think that it's a. I don't think you understand. Like, both guys have about the same game plan every fight they fight.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, when I say the same, I mean between the two of them.
Yeah, I know.
They have similar.
They have similar
skill sets,
fighting styles, and
other than the fact that Raging Al's a little more of a tough guy, and Kevin Lee might be more of an athlete.
yeah,
But I mean, I think it's just well known. I don't think that. I think when Kevin Lee was saying it, he was just basically they were basically both. They both know that they know each other's game plan.
yeah.
So I don't think it was that much of a big deal. I mean, honestly, and I think I listen to that show all the time, and I don't think that Matt Serra got on. I don't think he got on her skin, and the fact that when he after the fight, after the interview, and he's like, "Do you think he was being condescending?"
I think he was.
No, but when he said that, when he said, "Do you think he was being condescending?" That's just because Matt Serra's a little insecure. That's all it is.
I really think Kevin Lee was being condescending to him.
No,
I mean, I don't know.
He was hitting him back with the same question that Matt Serra gave to him.
Right.
Matt Serra said, "How you gonna beat Al?" And Matt Serra even jokingly said, "Hey, we're all fair." So just between me and you,
Yeah.
how you gonna beat my boy? He's a fan of Kevin Lee.
That's a weird spot to be in, I guess.
No, I mean Kevin Lee has came in person to the podcast before.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just like,
I mean, there's no ill will, but I'm just saying, if you're your opponent and now you're gonna what the word
it would
I'm looking for?
have been mental weakness if he wouldn't have did the show.
I don't think mental weakness on that part. I just think that's something that you don't have to do. Why do it if you don't have to do it?
Because it's got a following and you want to put your name out there.
He could have went on Ariel. He could have went on Luke Thomas. He could have went on anybody else's show. He didn't have to go on Matt Serra and Jim Norton's show.
Maybe he's a fan.
Maybe. I'm not a fan. I don't really.
I love that show.
I don't really care for that show, but it is what it is.
How do you not care for that show?
Matt Serra makes me cringe. And I really like the guy.
Honestly, okay, so look, I even commented on Matt Serra's Instagram and everything. I don't remember. Did it come out today?
Yes.
Okay, so I was listening to that shit, and I'm talking about out of nowhere. I mean, I was just hysterically laughing because they were going over the fights.
Mm-hmm.
And when he started talking about Edson Barboza, he's like, Barboza, Barboza, singing the Tomorrow song by Annie. And I was just dying laughing. I'm like, Master, so you say he's cringy, but like I said,
how can you not think he's not cringy?
We talked about this personally. He forgot about this probably. I'm talking about Ricky. We have a cousin Angel, and her husband Jerry. He can kind of be cornbally or whatever, but like if he does some off the wall shit, everybody's like, "Oh, that's just Jerry."
I get that.
He's stuck in between being cool and also being a little bit corny.
Right.
So that's why I said I put Matt Serra in the same category as Jerry. He's the same. He's actually probably around the same age, same era.
Yeah.
And it's just that's the type of person he is. He's cool, but he's also a little bit still cornballish.
Yeah.
So like, if you don't take Matt Serra too seriously, it's not cringy.
I understand what you're coming from, but I mean, I wouldn't put Jerry on a radio show.
I would. He would just have to bleep out every time he says
motherfucker, come on, Biggie, come on, motherfucker.
Yeah, certain racial slurs sometimes. He don't mean it that way.
No. He's a good-hearted guy.
But same time, you got Jim Norton, who before the podcast, you knew. I mean, I've told you plenty of times. He's my favorite comedian.
Yeah,
I've seen him twice, live, and I definitely look up to somebody. I mean, he's funny as hell to me.
I like Jim Norton. I like Jim Norton a lot, but I just can't listen that well. It's I don't know. It's not my cup of tea. But either way,
now that we went into a long tangent about the damn podcast, another podcast,
right? Okay, so who else is on this card?
No.
Who else is on the card? Let's go.
Let's we gotta cap off the first fight that we talked about,
which is Kevin Lee and Al.
So who do you got?
I got Al. I got.
Oh, before it was Kevin Lee.
It was Kevin Lee until I went back and seen the fight, and I had to. That's what I was getting into right before we went into this whole podcast thing. I went back on YouTube and watched Kevin Lee versus Iaquinta 1, and Al surprised me with his style of fighting. It actually counteracted what I thought Kevin Lee would be good at. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? I think I got to change my pick. And I'm changing my pick to Raging Al. That's who I'm picking.
How do you think it's going to end?
I think it's going to be a decision.
Well, you got to remember, this is a 5-round fight this time.
That's why I think it's going to be a decision. Because I think both of them are going to have cardio for days. Neither one really gets tired. So I think Al squeaks it out, split decision.
Okay. Well, I'm going with Al. and it's because of the gritty and toughness, and he's got no quit. He's a psychopath. And I'm going to go with a 4th round stoppage, TKO.
Oh, okay. Calling a shot.
Yep, and I think he's gonna like catch him plenty of times.
Write that shit down so we can come back next week and I can tell you that it was a split decision.
I ain't even got a pen out.
Look at that, you called it too.
I ain't playing around.
That motherfucker ain't joking. But anyway,
4th round TKO.
So now we made our picks on that, and the Conan main event is Mr. Edwin Barboza, or Edson Barboza.
Edwin.
Excuse me, I'm trying, guys.
Change his nationality quick.
Okay, so Edson Barboza versus Dan Hooker. Now, I don't know too much about Mr. Hooker. Can you elaborate a little bit on this guy?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people are sleeping on this fight because a few people I've talked to, Ricky included, they're like, whatever. He thinks Edson Barboza's on his way out.
I do.
I think that he just had a couple of hard matchups. He's a striker, quick twitch, knock a motherfucker out with some crazy spin shit type of striker, and he went against
two wrestlers.
Did he fight Khabib?
Yeah, Khabib smashed him.
Yeah, he fought Khabib, and then he fought Kevin Lee right afterwards.
Yep.
Was there another one?
I want to say he fought Ferguson.
Either way, he's been having tough matchups, dude. And now they finally gave him another striker.
So Dan Hooker's a striker.
Dan Hangman Hooker.
Hangman Hooker.
He don't fuck around. He's knocked motherfuckers out with his knees and everything.
So is he a Muay Thai fighter? Is he a brawler? What kind of striking does this man have?
I don't know the exact style, but because he's got the knees and stuff, maybe Muay Thai. But he's definitely, kickboxing, because he's using his legs, using his feet, using his hands. It's going to be fight of the night. I'm very excited about this fight. It's going to be better than Al versus Lee, in my opinion. I don't know who's going to win, but just because I think Edson Barboza has been having a hard way to go, he's hungry. I'll give it to Edson Barboza, 2nd round knockout.
Okay. I'm thinking that Edson. God damn, I keep calling him Edwin.
Just call him Barboza.
Yeah, Barboza's getting his ass kicked, and he's on his way out. I don't see him. I think he's going to get cut after this fight. I think he's going to lose. I'm going to say, let's go 1st round knockout.
I wouldn't mind that. I'm just saying.
First round knockout, the guy that I have no idea about, Dan Hooker. That's what I'm saying. That's how bad I think Barboza is going to lose.
Barboza's a bad motherfucker.
Fuck Barboza. He's done.
And then you got Rob Font versus Sergio Pettis.
Yeah.
I don't really know Rob Font. Do you?
No, I don't know. I don't know much about the guy.
But Sergio Pettis is moving up to bantamweight.
I think that's a better weight class for him. He's not as cut. He doesn't have to cut as hard, and he'll actually have a job because they're getting rid of the flyweights.
Yeah, and I think Sergio Pettis is going to be looking for a stamp because he didn't do so well his last match. He got
backpacked.
He got backpacked, and it just didn't. He didn't look good. So I think he's gonna come out with some intensity, and he's gonna really put it to this guy. But I'll say that, you know what, he'll probably get a decision win.
Yeah, I think that's how it's gonna end too. Decision, maybe a unanimous decision. Sergio Pettis.
All right, here's another one that could potentially be fighting tonight. It's probably because it's the end of the year, but there's so many good matchups right now. You got Jim Miller.
Who,
his last match,
tough dude.
His last match, he just looks so good.
He did.
And he's fighting Charles Oliveira.
There we go.
And Oliveira is a bad motherfucker too.
He's a very lanky, tall fighter.
Quick to put on a submission.
Yes, he is.
Quick.
Very quick. Choke you out real fucking quick.
I think his last fight, Oliveira, he broke the record for the most submission wins.
Oh, did he?
Or something like it was something with breaking a record with submissions.
So this is going to be a good fight. This is my pick'em. I don't really know about this fight. I don't know. I don't know who to pick in this fight, I should say. So if you hold a gun in my head, I want to say Jim Miller.
And I will go with Oliveira submission.
Okay. So I think Jim Miller. I don't know how he's going to win, but I think he's going to win. I want to say TKO, but I could be wrong. I don't really know.
Yeah, I mean it's possible.
So,
But I like Oliveira. I like Jim Miller too, but I think Jim Miller's struggling to keep up with these newer guys because he's kind of an old school.
right.
You know, he's a little bit from back in the day.
He's a brawler from back in the day. But now I will say this, that Jim Miller's finally gotten healthy, and he does suffer from Lyme disease.
Yeah.
So he said he's got that under control now. And his last fight, he looked like he does have it under control. And if he continues this way, I see a resurgence in his career, man.
This reminds me of Jake Ellenberger. They're not doing him any favors. They're feeding him to the wolves. These old school guys or these guys from that are kind of like trying to stick around. They're feeding them, but
You got to get him out one way or another. But the guys that make it, like Shogun, hey, they're gonna stick around.
yeah, and we got Stylebender that's gonna be fighting Silva.
Yeah, that's another guy that can usher out Anderson Silva. But I don't know. I think Silva should have been done a long time ago. I'm not going to get into that this podcast because we'll sit here for another hour and a half talking about it.
Yeah, and
so after that we got the New Year's card. Well, not New Year's, but December 29th card. John Jones and Gustafsson
or whatever.
Yeah,
we tried to watch how you pronounce his name.
Yeah. I'm trying,
Call him
guys.
the
I'm
Mauler.
trying. Yeah.
Alexander the Mauler.
Alexander
But-
Mauler.
These are fights in the future, like a couple weeks away.
Yeah.
We'll talk about them another time. It's
Okay.
getting it's getting a little late. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, me too,
We're
man.
getting to that end of that fifth round.
That's right. All right, guys. Well, I'm Ricky,
Hey, I'm Buddy.
and we're out of here.
All right, see ya.
See ya.